Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is election day across the country, but definitely here in the city of Boston, an area in which we focus, though we are currently in the process of going regional and somewhat national. Let me get this together. Okay, this way. A few weeks ago, I'm just on the, before Aaron gets me and tells me that my hoodie was off center. Shout out to Property of Walk by Faith. Check them out over on Instagram. Search them, Property of Walk by Faith. Shout out to them. And also Dr. Drumright for the connection out of Nashville, Tennessee. If you are a brand and you would like to advertise on Java with Jimmy via your merch, hit us at info@Java with Jimmy. I didn't mean to go there this morning, but we are here this morning to talk about Election Day, something that is not new. We talk about electoral politics, civic engagement very often in this space. And today is the day in which we will hopefully more practice in a wide spectrum of our community, practice what we preach to move ourselves beyond the critiques, the suggestions, the assertions on social media, to move that to the polls and let our voting reflect what it is that we've been writing about, commenting about, liking and sharing. Today is the day where you put your money where your mouth is. And that is no disregard for those that just can't. One, ineligible. Two, may have let their registration lapse. I understand that in Brockton, there are about over, I believe, 40,000 people who were cleaned off the rolls, per se. We don't talk too much about, Brockton politics, but I did see that. So some are ineligible. Some just working 2-3 jobs, child care, doctor's appointment, unexpected things, emergencies, that is real. Did not have the capacity to do mail-in, absentee, in some cases. But for those of us that are here, that are active, that have the ability to get out and vote, today is the day that we do that. And so I am encouraging everybody to get out and vote, period. Go vote, go exercise your right to vote. Now, anybody that follows me that is engaged here knows that I do my best to try to be as balanced as possible. But on this platform, of which God has given me and some people support, I'm public about those with those with whom I share values and morals. Most a pretty good percentage, but not always 100% when it comes to policy. And when I say a pretty good percentage, I'm talking about morals and values around humanity, equity, addressing the marginalized, promotion of women in leadership, promotion of women in color, promotion of women of color, promotion of specifically Black women, promotion of LGBTQ plus, LGBTQ2S plus, LGBTQIA2S plus, I believe is the latest iteration of being all-inclusive, all of those marginalized communities, and especially when there are intersections of those. And there are 3 people with whom I see that keep Boston on a more progressive, and I know that's an interesting word for many. When I talk about progressive, I mean what I just said: women in leadership, Black women, Shagun Idawu's Excel sheet, to which I often refer. The fact that the mayor has stood up for being a sanctuary city in the Trust Act that was enacted before she was mayor. All that went on with White Stadium, all that went on with what do you call it? Speed bumps, white poles and speed bumps. With all of what we have had to say, with all of that we've had to say and give opinion and suggestions and idea on social media, we need to make sure that we get these three people that I believe will further progress us with everything that I named as concerns and also achievements that is done with this administration and in this city. There are three people to which I'm casting my vote. Now, I have asserted and said for some that understand this and that want to do it. It is a strategy that some have used in parts of our city that have not always demonstrated their belief in equity. um, they do what's called block voting, and I can tell you today that there is block voting still going on over there. We will look at the numbers post-election and see how many blank votes for at-large are in what wards and what precincts. I'm voting for three people. Right now, honestly, I don't know if I'm going to exercise what many would say, Jimmy, hold on. We got a right to vote for four people and we want to vote for all four. Absolutely. I am considering employing a strategy and only voting for my three candidates. And I'm not going to name the candidates for which I encourage you not to vote under any circumstances. We're going to focus on those that I believe, one, has had the most legislation passed, not just proposed, but passed. The other is the city council president. And the other is a man of Dominican descent, black, brown, however you want to classify. He identifies as black and of Dominican descent. And it is important in that vein, brothers, black men, that we get out and vote. I'm going to keep it 100 that I know that a first term city councilor is on a learning curve. And I know that in my conversations with some voters that, they would like to see some more assertion from our good brother Santana. I'm asking you all to consider your vote and give him another chance. And I told him he's coming on. I told him as recently as last night, I said, sir, and with all of them, but particularly with brother Santana, I said, sir, there's a different level of accountability that we're going to need from you and a different level of aggression around joining yourself with brother Brian Worrell, a black man on the council as well. And so speaking of the council and our city council president, this is sort of a pop-up today. Now listen, for all you strategists and operatives that talking about they need to be on doors and getting their voters out instead of sitting up on Java with Jimmy. They're going to give us about 5 minutes and we're going to let them go. And so I'm going to bring in our city council president, who is a candidate for at-large, and Councilor LOUIJENE. I believe I got it right. I'm getting better.
You are.
Thank you. I feel pretty good. Shout out to brother Milton that I'm doing, and Real Boston Media, I'm doing better with pronunciation. And so I see you got an element of red on there. I see you trying to let it pop. It's in the family. So very quickly, because I know you're out and you're running around. Describe how you feel today in one word, counselor.
Energized. Like, election day is about all of us, and it's about democracy, and it's about bringing people closer to power and exercising their right to vote. So election day is one of my favorite days in the calendar year. So I'm just feeling really energized.
I am glad that you are feeling energized. One question as a candidate I will ask you, what is one area that you believe that you would like to see the council and or yourself more aggressive when it comes to the space of equity?
Probably in education outcomes, our schools, making sure that our kids who go to BPS, because, there's no other option. There's no fancy school. The parents don't know anything about charter schools, don't know anything about any of the other options. BPS is all they got. And we have a responsibility to making sure that our young kids are, and when you look at those who are in BPS, it is really, it's our black and brown kids, those with disabilities, learning disabilities, those who are immigrants. And so we have a responsibility to help them break every barrier. And every time that we see persistent falling behind or bad literacy rates among our kids, that's not setting them up for success. It's actually setting them up for failure. And I do think that's where we got to lean in a lot more to make sure that we are getting outcomes in our schools that are setting up our kids, especially our black and brown kids, for success.
One last thing I will ask you about, counselor, is you're a black woman, you're a woman you're a Haitian woman. And in these times of what's going on, can you speak to our stance as a city that supports our immigrant community? I can't have you here today, being the city council president who is privy to a lot that's going on. Can you share with us any either updates, anything that you would like to share with our immigrant community, and speak from you being a Haitian, a woman leader in this
Yeah.
city in these times?
We don't change. You don't switch up. We don't change who we are just because the federal government changes. We are a city that cares about all of our residents, that cares about being a city that's inclusive and welcoming. Boston is your home. Boston is for everyone, and we have been on repeat saying that so that everyone can feel included. I always say we reject the zero sum game, saying that we can't care for those who've been here for 5 generations and those who've been here for 5 months. Unless you yourself are indigenous to this land or were brought here forcefully via slavery, you don't have an original claim to this land, right? We are all, the immigrant story is rooted in so many of us. And so we're not going to switch up or switch our character or act brand new just because we have a completely misguided, failed president who doesn't care about regular American people. We stay true to our values, true to who we are. We weather out this storm. We stand strong. We stare the devil down, and we stand on principle, right? We stand 10 toes down as being a city that is welcoming and inclusive and that understands that we are a better and a stronger city and a stronger economy when we have immigrants who are here and part of that, right? People who speak an accent, that's not something to be nervous about or fearful. That is a sign of a superpower. That means you can speak another language, which means you add cultural diversity and so much more to our city. And so I am eternally grateful to our immigrants and all of our residents who make Boston the strong city that it is right now.
I want to thank you for that, Counselor. We're getting ready to have you cross over real quick with our city councilor, Henry Santana, that can also speak to, his experience being an immigrant and coming here and voting and achieving, a success to be, representing there on the city council. And so, City Councilor Henry Santana, good to see you in the room. I'll allow you two to say hello to each other. I will say to the audience, they're running around. Phones and tech is interesting, but I'm glad to just have them here. So I'll allow you two to say hello to each other. Anything that you say hello to each other, and
Henry,
then
where you at? Where you at, Henry?
I'm in Rosendale right now. We've been out. We've been here for the last hour or so, getting up the vote. Where are you?
You said you're in Rosendale?
I am. I was just with our district councilor,
Okay.
Enrique
We're in
Pepe.
Roxbury. We're right in Nubian Square, headed to the Higginson Lewis, and we were just in the South End, headed to Roxbury, Higginson Lewis.
Awesome. Good to see you, Council President.
one thing I would like to do before the two of you go, I was talking about immigration. I was talking about both of you are Black, of color, of Haitian, and also Dominican descent. And
I can't
Counselor,
hear you. No, I can't.
try to get back to the screen, Counselor Santana. And I really wanted him to hear this affirmation, but log off and try to log back in, Counselor, or maybe his phone's trying to join. Counselor, I was going to ask you to, say something affirming to Counselor Santana, and then vice versa with him as well. But he can go back and watch it. But anything you would like to say, Counselor LOUIJENE?
There are so many young Black boys looking up to Counselor Santana in this moment for his leadership, especially for our young people. Stay the course. This is his first re-election, and they're always really scary. But you got this. We're behind you. We support you, and we uplift you and the work that you are doing every day on the City Council.
I appreciate that. We're working, and just very proud to have the support of our council president.
Somebody's calling him right now. I want him to affirm you, but Counselor, I will let you go. You can go back and watch his affirmation. And we're going to get Counselor Santana right back. But Counselor LOUIJENE, thank you for being with us this morning. Godspeed to you. And we believe that, there's victory this evening. 1, 2, and 3. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks, everybody. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Get out and vote.
Thank you. We are working on our Counselor Santana in the background there. hopefully he'll just log off and log back in. Also coming up in just a few moments, City Councilor Julia Mejia will be with us as well. We are here in what I'm calling a pop-up Get Out to Vote on Election Day rally with 3 candidates that I believe will continue the progress that this city has made. And while perfection is never on the ballot, I believe that these 3 for the at-large seats are most aligned with many of the values and pieces that we talk about here in the Java Cafe. And so we have Councilor Santana back. I'm going to try to get as much as I can get out of him before tech goes on. Tell people to stop calling you. I know it's election day. Put that phone on focus so we can, before we get in, if you could say something to Councilor Louis and an affirmation there, that would be great. And I think Counselor's still having tech issues.
I can't hear you. I don't know why.
Okay. We are still trying to get the counselor back. We may not be able to get him to, but you were able to hear him just for a couple of seconds. I'm not sure what's going on there, but Councilor Mejia will be with us in a couple of seconds. While we are trying to get Councilor Santana in the space, we want to just share with you just a quick reminder about how important it is that our values continue here on election day in the city of Boston. I believe we got him back. All right, Counselor.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry. I'm having some technical difficulties.
Listen, you're doing now. Do me a favor. Stay still and turn around and let the sun face you, not behind you. And that way we can see you right there. Look, have you been out in the sun? Because you look like you got a little tan, brother.
No. We're outside today since this morning, getting out the vote. We started out in Roxbury, and we were talking to voters out there. Went down to West Roxbury, now in Rosendale. Going to Hyde Park, East Boston, Jamaica Plain, all the neighborhoods across the city. So we're making one final push to all the residents here, making sure that they know that there's an election today, and making sure that they have a plan to vote. And also, I'm humbly asking everyone to give me one of their 4 votes at large. I'm in a competitive race right now. I think what I tell people is that Boston has a decision to either continue pushing forward or to go backwards. And I am that forward candidate. I want to make sure that I represent the now and the future, and want to continue to learn and grow in this role. And I hope that Boston gives me the opportunity to continue to do that.
Absolutely. I will ask you one question as a candidate counsel, and I shared this a little bit. We texted about it yesterday. Some of the feedback that I've received, and you may have as well, that some would like to see you more aggressive, particularly in the committees that you were in charge, which was education and also public safety. Is there anything that what can we expect from you? Committee assignments are not made yet, but in your committee assignment, how will you be more aggressive? And I will say, particularly as a Black man of Dominican descent, how will you stand up to that standard of being more aggressive?
Yeah, so I think, part of being a city councilor is being able to find your voice in a 13-person body. Again, I'm growing, I'm learning, and I'm learning to find what my voice is on this body as well. And I think one thing I want to continue learning is it's like really being able to sit down with community members and really putting achievable things that I can work alongside with them. And I think I'm not a yeller. I'm not someone who comes from that, right? And I think just because I'm a more quiet leader doesn't mean that I'm not doing the work. So, but I want to be able to grow with it, with community to do this, and I'm committed to that.
I definitely appreciate that. In a very quick vein, I want to ask you on the spot question, Counselor. This is something that's active on my social media right now. In the vein of public safety, there was an assertion that Boston has a murder triangle. You believe with that? Do you believe in that description and that assertion that there's a murder triangle in Boston?
That's a murder triangle. I think we have a long way to go still when it comes to violence here in the city of Boston, particularly in our Black and brown neighborhoods when we're talking about Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, and other parts of the city, right? I think we've done a lot of good work and a lot of progress over the last few years. But one one death, one violence act, right, is one too many. So the way I'm really stepping up in that area is trying to find as many programs that serves our youth, serves our families, and serves our seniors, and really pushing the administration to invest in those programs, invest in those nonprofit organizations for them to continue doing the work. And again, there's a lot of room where we still need to grow. So I want to hear from community. I want to hear from residents. I want to be able to sit down with them and figure out what following steps we need to take as a city to get to the place where we want to be. And I think we're moving in the right direction. But again, I grew up in public housing in Mission Hill. This is not something that's new to Boston, right? But I think we're moving in the right direction, and I think I think that's why I need to keep my seat and keep the voice there, and work alongside community members, particularly in Roxbury, Mattapan, and Dorchester, to find the proper investments that we need to make as a city.
All right, you didn't give me a yes or no answer about the descriptive of the murder triangle, but I appreciate the context of the work and not being distracted by things like that. So, Counselor, thank you. We have one more getting ready to come in. She's not with us yet, so I'll take as much time as you have. But I know you got to get on doors and turn out the vote. But I appreciate you coming. Last thing I will say is, what is it that you will say? What is it that you say to Black and brown men about being seen and about the importance of their participation, whether active or not, about being seen and what our issues are as Black and brown men? How do you respond to that?
Well, first I'll say that, right, I'm the first Black man in this seat since the 1960s. So it's it's hard to get elected into this seat at large as a Black man. And I think it's also hard to keep the seat and get reelected, right? And I think I can do a better job of convening.
Hold on. That last part deserves a sip. You said it's even harder to keep the seat, and we know some of the things that are going on to try to unseat you. But go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, and that's right. I think old Boston is upset of my presence in this seat, my role on this council, right? But I think, again, we need to, regardless of some of the policy issues that we may not agree on, I think I need to do a better job at convening the Black men community particularly, right? And work on the issues that really matter to us. And I'm committed to that in my second term. That's an area where I really need to grow in, and I hope that the Black men here in the city of Boston give me the opportunity to do that work. But I know that me being in the seat, me being able to show up at schools, at our BPS schools, at after-school programs and summer programs, and being able to see the faces that I get right from these children that see me in this row. It's the same face that I had when I saw Tito Jackson when I was in middle school. The same face when and being able to see a Black man in the row changed my life. And I know that my office, when it comes to youth, we've shown up for youth. We've been with our youth, and that's I think that was part of my first term. Now I'm really looking to how do we grow that, and how do we continue to build.
Counselor, thank you. I have one comment and one question. Again, tell me when you have to jump. But one encouraging comment was, I voted for him, but now he is on the hot seat in reference to the accountability. And then also someone said that, what about the peers that pose the strongest threat to change happening in our city? I believe this is in the context of home ownership or maybe development. The decision makers at ISD, Public Works, City Hall, they don't listen to the taxpayers or the property owners. How would you respond there?
I think I've been someone that's been able to collaborate with the administration on many issues and many projects. I say if you don't feel like you're being listened to by different departments, reach out to my office. I want to be that bridge between the council and community and the administration. And I take pride in making sure that those conversations happen. So, please reach out to my office. We'll be happy to connect and sit down, have a meeting. I think one of the things that we as elected officials need to do all the time is listen to community. And again, we don't always do that, right? And I think I need to be more vocal about that, making sure that the administration and my council colleagues are responding to what the community needs. And as a whole, as an at-large city councilor, I also, I represent the whole city, but we also need to take it district by district, neighborhood by neighborhood, the different needs that we need. The needs in Roxbury are not the same needs in Hyde Park, not the same needs in Jamaica Plain or East Boston, right? And I think particularly as a District 7 resident, I grew up in District 7. I currently live in District 7. This is something that I saw as a child that we weren't listened to, particularly in Roxbury. And I want to do a better job of making sure that I'm bringing the voices of Roxbury into the council, and being able to work with the District 7 city councilor to get things done, right? And right now we're in the midst of, I know budget season comes up next year, right? And everyone sees when the budget comes out. But those conversations are happening right now. Where are we going to be making investments? I'm looking at, right, again, how do we take care of our youth? How do we take care of our seniors? But looking forward to more conversations to have to make sure that the investments that our Black and brown communities want to see are already in the budget when it comes out.
Wait a minute. You messed me up a little bit. Already in the budget when the budget comes out, and Counselor, all right. That caught my attention real quick. Not fighting for it when it's presented, but doing the backward.
No, when it comes out, it's too late to make. When the budget comes out, we're able to make amendments to it, but we're not able to really make major changes to it, right? You're talking about a few $1 million here, talking about $4+ billion budget. The reason why I was able to get a lot of the things that I wanted is because those conversations start now. I am working on different department heads, working with the administration and the mayor, to make sure that when the budget comes out, the investments that I want to see in our youth, in our Black and brown communities, in our housing, in our public safety are already there. And then after the budget comes out, it's about then extending and maximizing some of those efforts, right? But as someone who came from the administration, I know how this plays out. Which is why I'm being very aggressive right now, and making sure that the investments that I want to see are in the budget when it comes out.
I appreciate that. And I'll be honest with you, it was a thought, so I'm just going to say it, that I do hear a different cadence in you. I will say, it is campaign season. You are a candidate. My last question, and I'll let you go be that candidate to turn out these ones to which us pundits and strategists refer. One action that Sister Angelina and others that talked about accountability for you, one action you're going to take that takes what you've said here today and going to translate that aggression to what you asserted a few minutes ago. One action, very first thing, and don't give me political jargon. Give me
no. One thing I really want to do after today is convene and reach out to our particularly our Black men here in the city of Boston. We have a lot of great leaders. Because of those great leaders, I'm in the position that I'm in right now, right? And then they've been able to fight and push our city forward. I want to make sure that I'm convening them, having a meal, whatever the case may be, and really thinking about what are actionable things that we could be doing right now, that I can be doing right now, that I can be leading and championing on the city council, to make sure that our Black men have a voice on the city council. There's only 2 of us on the city council right now, right, with Brian Worrell, District 4 city councilor, and myself. And I think that's one actionable thing that I definitely want to do after today, is being more intentional about convening our Black community, particularly our Black men.
I thank you for that. I'm going to let you go because the more you talk, the more questions I have, and we'll be here. Councilman here is coming on very briefly. Last thing, you didn't get a chance because of tech. City Councilor LOUIJENE affirmed you in the context of being a Black man and from immigrant descent. If City Councilor LOUIJENE was on screen right now, how would you affirm her as a Black woman?
No, I'm a proud Black man. I'm a proud Dominican immigrant. Hello. And that's been my identity here growing up in public housing here in the city of Boston. And that's been my story here in the city of Boston. So, and again, those are the people that I represent as an at-large city councilor. And it's never been seen before, a Black Dominican immigrant in this seat. That's never been seen. So there's no blueprint for it, right? There's no one telling you this is how you do it. And I'm learning as it goes. But I know that I'm an extremely hard worker. I lead with my heart. I really love the city. I really love our people, and I want to make sure that our people are able to not just stay here in the city of Boston, but really thrive here in the city of Boston. And we're going to work extra hard to make sure that that's the case.
I know that I'm going to come back because I know you may have not heard everything, and I know if you heard it, you would have done it. I was asking you to, why am I putting my hands like this? I was asking you to affirm a Black woman who's also an immigrant in our counselor,
Okay.
LOUIJENE. Can you do that? Because she did that when we were trying to get you back. So
and it's not, listen, LOUIJENE is the best of the best, right? Again, someone that I've really, you know, really counted on and relied on in my first term. She's been a tremendous mentor to me. She's never closed her doors on me. Whenever I have a question or an issue that I want to walk in, I think, you know, her topping the ticket back-to-back years, her showing up how she does, her being the city council president as a Black woman, as a Haitian woman, right? I think it speaks volumes of the type of leadership that we have. We are so lucky to have Council President LOUIJENE as one of our city councilors, and she works. I mean, I'm able to see how she works and the time she puts into this, and we're very, very lucky to have her here in the city of Boston, leading our city in the way that she is. You know, I'm really thankful for her friendship, but I know the city of Boston is even more thankful for her service and her leadership.
I definitely appreciate that, counselor. We have someone that was commenting, was like, he couldn't hear you because of the wind. And so listen,
I couldn't.
Well, you did well. We got you back. The shot is good. You sound good outside of the wind. But thank you for being with us this morning and coming to engage with community on election day. We definitely appreciate that. And we believe in victory 1, 2, 3. This evening. So we'll talk with you soon, counselor. Thank you so much.
Text your friends, text your neighbors right now. We're seeing right now, the people who are showing up to the polls, we're getting good reception, but there's not a lot of people. We want to make sure that we get out the vote. So please, please, please make a plan to vote, and text your friends, text your neighbors, text your family, and make sure that they take a few minutes to vote today. Jimmy, thank you always for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to building with you.
I appreciate it, sir. We'll get that lunch and sit down schedule, and I'm glad to help with the convening of the Black and Brown Brothers. Thank you. Appreciate you, sir. All right, we got Councilor Santana, we had Councilor LOUIJENE, and Councilor Mejia. Now, I'll be honest with y'all. I'll just say that booking them today was sidebarred, and so there are a couple of things that their teams had for them scheduled the proper way. And so Councilor Mejia is one of those that was kind of double booked. And so we're going to give her some grace. And hopefully she's able to come in. But again, she's out there hustling because today's election day. So in the meantime, while we are waiting, hopefully for Councilor Mejia to come in, I wanted to just share with you just a few seconds of some encouragement to get out and vote and consider the 3 that we are hosting this morning. We'll be back.
They talk about the future, but we are the future. Our energy, our ideas, our votes will decide what comes next. Our exhaustion is what they are counting on. Let's vote and build the future we deserve. Vote today. Vote for Julia Mejia, Ruth C. LOUIJENE, and Henry Santana.
My name is Malia Lazu, and I am chair of the We Are Different IE PAC. The We Are Different IE PAC approved and paid for this message.
We wanted to remind you, seeing Malia there, that this Thursday, we will not have Java with Jimmy at 10 a.m. However, at 12:30 p.m., we're going live from Boston Public Library through our partnership. GBH amplifies James Jimmy Hills, host of Java with Jimmy. Malia will be one of our guests, along with Dart Adams, and we're going to talk about where we're pushing candidates. And it came up a few seconds ago. And from the governor, the Congress people, the state reps, they're up for election next year, state and federal. We need to talk about accountability and what does something that we call Black Boston Poly and accountability look like. And so we're going to have that conversation with Malia and Dart this Thursday at 12:30 p.m. live from the News Cafe at Boston Public Library, GBH Studios there for GBH Amplifies James Jimmy Hills, yours truly, host here of Java with Jimmy. We are hopefully, I'll see what is going on. I'm asking the counselor if she is making it. No pressure. The main thing today, yes, I have preferred candidates, but the main thing is that you vote. And the counselor brought it up, so I'm also going to mention this race as well. D7. D7 is a very interesting race. And you know, I'll just say this. There are already people talking about who's running in 27. You know, and I am a voter and resident of D7, have a whole lot of multiple decades of context with one candidate, and then the other one I don't know. And I'll just say this. I'm writing in. And that's what I'll say about D7. So we're still seeing if our counselor Mejia is going to make it. If she is not, we definitely want to make sure that we continue to ask you to support these three candidates. She is one of which. And so I am encouraging and asking you to consider your vote for at large for LOUIJENE, Mejia, and also Santana. As I said a few moments ago, I'm on the fence about 3 votes. We get 4. I'm on the fence about 3 for my 3 only and no other. And some others are considering that what's called block voting. So just wanted to mention that. Also, by way of announcement, we will not have an election coverage show this evening. I think out of the past 5+ years, since 2020, we've done an election coverage show in some way, shape, or form on E-Night. We are not going to do that this evening. We will, however, at some point tomorrow, or probably we won't do it Thursday. Do I have a guest on Monday? Monday's the 10th. I don't think I have a guest on Monday. Monday, we will cover some of the numbers, those that will be out, and do some election coverage. The next thing that will be the hot topic when it comes to city council is city council president and committees. We need to pay attention to that, because who leads the committees? That notion to which Councilor Santana referred about in the background, and when the budget comes out, having certain line items in there through negotiations and conversations with city departments and divisions. The committee leads do a lot of that based on their C, or the peer view that they have. It's education, public safety, public health, maybe men's issues, women's issues. Well, public men's and women's issues may fall under human services. There are a myriad of subcommittees that these city councilors lead and then co-lead. And one of them is Ways and Means. We got to give a shout out to City Councilor Brian Worrell, who shepherded this process. I believe right before him was City Councilor Tanya Anderson. We can see the progress that's being made in this city. Boston's old narrative is changing, ing. I believe that your vote for all 3 of these folks, respectfully presenting to you to consider, further pushes us. Wow. While we are actively being pushed back. Nationally, majority, but trust and believe and listen to me that all politics are local, and there's an energy here that has been emboldened, that is active, that does not like the progress that's going on, that does not like the Asian woman mayor who speaks Spanish and now some Creole, and also one of the most diverse city councils. And Councilor Santana mentioned that at the at-large, I ask you to consider voting for those 3. We have not heard from Councilor Mejia, and I got to get to an 11 o'clock. Thankfully, it's down the street, so I can be a couple of minutes late because I just have to test some things. Mimi, good morning. Long time. Good to see you in the room this morning over on Instagram. All right, let's go to some comments. We're going to take a quick commercial break in just a couple of seconds, and we will be right back with you. I see Rich Futrell is in the room. My sister Dina's in the room. Mama Java is in the room. Also, Dina said that, granted, I just found my community meeting site and dates, but at the meeting, they stated they have never seen or heard from Henry Santana. But as I stated, his rep was good in what he said. Thank you for that. And we addressed that. I have heard that well, and I've brought that to Counselor Santana's attention. Milton, thank you. From between the both of us, we'll try to get her in here. But we also know that she is probably out in what they call the field, producing what we call those ones. There's a process of getting people. Let's say you know, Julia knocked on somebody's door and they're like, yeah, I heard about you, but I'm not sure. A couple of weeks later, Julie comes back and they're like, yeah, I heard some things. I did some research. I'm not really sure, but I'm on the fence. You go back about a week later, you knock on the door. So when they're on the fence, they're considered like, uh-oh. When they're on the fence, they're considered like a 3. And then you go back, you make them a 2, and then you convert them to a 1, and then you got to turn them out. So, Counselor, we're about to bring you on screen. We were talking about the fact that you're probably out there trying to turn your ones out to you know. Are you double tasking?
When am I not? Okay. And, oh my Lord, I've been all in these streets all day, you know, but you know, it's really low voter turnout right now, y'all. Like, we need to demonstrate our power. We need to flex our little muscle right now. Our voice is our vote, and we need to amplify our votes and utilize our voice. And I've been telling everybody, well, first of all, what's up, Jimmy? It's good to see you. I've been telling everybody, even if you don't like none of us, put your own name on the ballot, or put a little X, just so that people know we exist in Black and brown neighborhoods. That we let people know that we are just as competitive as other neighborhoods, and that we also are paying attention, so that nobody gets a pass. And so that's been my message. Don't vote. I've been asking people just to vote for me. I've been telling people to just vote for the sake of demonstrating our power. And if you don't like none of us, don't vote for me. Put your name on the ballot, but just vote. That's been my message. Just get out and vote, period.
I definitely appreciate that, Counselor. I will ask you in the form of a question of a candidate. I've asked Counselor LOUIJENE and also Counselor Santana. We were trying to have y'all hang out, but I know you're out there working. What is, and I did mention that you have got the most legislation passed. That is a huge achievement. If you don't mind me asking you as a candidate, what is one area of improvement that we're going to see in your next term? What is one space that you sat with your team or among yourself or Annalisa, anybody, and said, damn, I wish I did something? Is there anything? And if it is, what is it?
Yeah, so first of all, the good thing about me is that I've never been one to pat myself on the back. So yes, I passed the most. I've either led or co-sponsored the most pieces of legislation, 20, over 20 at this point. But what's the sense of saying that you did something unless you're willing to eat humble pie and audit your work? So one of the things that we did, because I'm a reflective leader in this term, is that we went back and looked at some of the legislation that we passed to see if we were meeting the moment and making the impact that we had initially intended, right? So for me, my hope in my next term is doing more of that reflective leadership work and eating humble pie more often, and making sure that I don't just be patting myself on the back. So doing that work is important to me. And then the other, James, I am. A lot of people don't take me serious because of my demeanor, and I think that there is a narrative about who I'm not because of how I show up. And I feel like I have to let people know, don't let my personality, get in the way of my performance, right? And I think that people underestimate me a lot. And I think one of the things that I need to really start doing is letting people know, or demonstrating, that you could be your full authentic self and still lead. And I also need to learn how to be a better politician, because I'm not as polished as other people. And I don't know if I really want to be super polished because I reject the establishment and reject that type of life. But I also know I can't be the reason why my people don't move forward. And if I have to, like, smooth out some of these edges, not these edges, y'all, but like, be a little bit less scary to people, then, I gotta be less scary because people want to make assumptions about me based on my presentation, and I gotta fix that.
You know what is so interesting, Counselor, that I just noticed? I'll ask you to speak to this and then we'll go. And then you can do what it is, because there is a part of an ask that you need to make. But I just realized our city council president, my 3 candidates are of immigrant experience. I asked the both of them about it. There's the Trust Act. There's what's going on nationally. Counselor, what are your thoughts just around your model is all means all? And you often talk about the diaspora. We can be Black, Dominican, all at the same damn time. What can you just give me some thoughts about our united power and when we move in certain spaces? I'm going to use your language that you've been talking to me about for over a decade. Our united power when we move in spaces together.
Yeah.
Come
so
on.
I always talk about being an Afro Latina. I might be light skinned, but I always know when they abducted us, I know the port. The only difference is the port they dropped us off of. So there is so much power within our collective, right? We have this mentality out in these streets that is always us versus them, and it's like the oppression Olympics, right? It's like that mentality that we have that we need to step out of, and I think this is where for me, like, I established the Black Men and Boys Commission under your leadership, and Tito Jackson and Ron Bell and a host of other Black men and boys in the city of Boston, which led to the Office of Black Male Advancement with a budget of $1.8 million. And I advocated fiercely for that. And I also worked on establishing a reparations task force in the most racist city in the country, and that passed unanimously, right? So what does that mean is that, we need to start thinking about the brothers keepers mentality, and we are each other's keeper. We are here to uplift each other, and that's how we combat that target that's on our back. It has to be building upon our collective power, because only in our collective power will we be able to actually overthrow the power.
I definitely, it's interesting times, Counselor, and I love how you've always talked about the diaspora. I love how you've, and this is consistency before you was a candidate. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate that about you in your consistency. I just want to affirm some things because we were not able to have you cross over, and I had Council LOUIJENE affirm Council Santana and Santana LOUIJENE. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that directly from the audience. All right. I'm going to put you on screen so you can see it and we get your reaction there. But Mother Sharon Cornelius, who you saw the other night, I also want to thank you for the citation. But I want to share some affirmations with you from the audience. One is from Mother Sharon Cornelius from the Mother's Board. Be you, Julia Mejia. And then Dina Marshall said, don't change who you are. We vote for you repeatedly because of who you are. Milagro said, authenticity is important. Our good brother, our friend, our guy, Milton, also said, vote Julia. Mother Sharon said also, she loves you. I think Mama Java had a comment in here somewhere about you as well. I'm trying to find it. But I just wanted to, we were not able to get that directly done from a fellow co-counselor, but I just wanted to, and I know you, that probably, with all respect to our counselors, you probably enjoy these more than maybe hearing from your colleagues, respectfully. So those are the affirmations we wanted to share with you.
That's what fills my heart, right? Is the people. And James, I ran a campaign that was just people powered, no political endorsements.
Yep.
I didn't forget. It was just, it's God in the streets, and that's it, right? And so those affirmations is what fills me and what motivates me and what continues to fuel this work for me, because I'm loyal to the people and these streets, and you know, when people see and affirm me, that is the biggest win for me. And I so appreciate the love, because it is not easy being out here. Sometimes it feels like you're out here by yourself, but when you got your hood and you got your people, you got God, you got what you need to make it to the finish line. And I feel incredibly grateful for the opportunity to not just, you know, thank you for giving me a platform to connect with my people. Thank you, because your people are my people. So I just want to say thank you for being so super intentional about this, because I don't even have money to send out any mailers, y'all. So this is probably the most media coverage that I'm getting, because I don't got the money. So thank you.
Counselor, and I've said this, and you appreciate this, and we've had dialogue. Perfection, and we know that our congresswoman often says that perfection is not on the ballot. Progress is. And so I thank you for being progressive. And I know that's an interesting word, but what I just really realized with the three of you all on today, that's amazing for this city. And I do see and observe that you've run a non-traditional campaign, and you've placed 1, 2, and 3 the last couple of cycles. So take full confidence. You're walking away with affirmations from voters and constituents. Colleagues is good.
My people.
Listen, about to sound get up here. Go ahead, do it before we go. My people.
my people all day, every day. And I love you all, and I appreciate you all. I'm going to ask you all to please call 5 of your friends or tag them on a post, but please make sure we turn people out to vote, y'all. Please. I don't care who, well, I do care who they vote for. Just make sure that we keep moving forward. Please do your job.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you. I want to get you to come back one day too, because I want you to step away and be a mom and Julia and your media experience. We need to talk about social media after dark soon. Because that's a whole nother Zoom in itself.
Yes, so, I'm ready for it. You know, I got my hand up. Let's go.
Listen, and we'll do that in person. So thank you, Counselor. Go ahead, get your ones out to vote, and we'll talk to you soon. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my love. Thank you, everybody. I love y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Folks, I hope today just reaffirms that where we are on this platform, I'm owning and saying, yes, I bought in, and Rich Future read, mentioned that another candidate. These are the 3 candidates that I'm supporting. And yes, I understand my influence, but trust and believe that I would not have these people on my platform. And it's probably some reason why some others aren't. Some aren't. Because I just see these 3 that are most aligned with my and some of our morals and values toward progress. And so I'm just naming that. I try to be balanced, but trust and believe my balance. And when I become imbalanced by your perception, trust and believe that little pendulum is moving toward equity. So never, ever, 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 ever get it twisted. We're going to get ready to wrap up. Thank you all for being with us today. We will be with you tomorrow 2 times to make up for our time, not with you on Thursday morning. We're going to make that up on Thursday afternoon on GBH, though. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I am speaking with representatives from the Boston Raiders, their cheerleading squad, and also Coach Dennis Wilson will be with us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Tomorrow's episode is being sponsored by MTK Realty and also the Family Movement. Shout out to Brother Wadi and also LaKenya Rivers, who helped curate that show for tomorrow. And then at 12 noon, we're going to have a serious conversation with my housing attorney. Some of you know that a couple of years ago, I went through a situation with a landlord, and this young woman knows her stuff. And she's coming in, and please hear my heart here. Massachusetts is a very tenant-leaning state. And in some cases, I understand why. However, we have women, single mothers, Black and brown people, small business owners, some commercial developers who are women, Black and brown from marginalized communities, who are also landlords, who have tenants, who in this time may be faced with delayed or decreased rent. these people, some, understand the tenant situation, but the mortgage company doesn't understand theirs. And so the reason Attorney Greenman is coming in to speak with us is to really take a humanistic approach and a balance to tenants' rights, and then also for tenants to keep in mind that, one, landlords have to do what they have to do. They have to go through processes. If you're going to apply for RAF, they may ask, have you, issued a, 5, 15, 30-day notice to quit. Attorney Greenman is coming in at 12 noon tomorrow for Midday Java to speak, and I'm specifically warning her to share how a landlord can do what they have to do, but in a humane way. I know this woman. My family has worked with her. She's represented me. And she's more on the landlord's side in her representation. But when she finds out that a tenant is not being treated fairly, oh, it's very different. So please plan to join us tomorrow at 12 noon. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the Boston Raiders, and tomorrow at 12 noon with Attorney Greenman. All right? That's it for me. Ooh. That meeting starts in 1 minute. I got to, thank God it's down the street. I got to get ready to get out of here. Before we go, we just wanted to share one more reminder with you about the candidates for which we encourage you to vote. We'll see you. We'll come back for 2 seconds after this quick commercial break.
Look around. These are our streets, our neighborhoods, our futures. We build them, we live in them, and we have the power to shape them. Voting isn't just a right, it's our collective voice demanding change. Let's walk to the polls together. Our power is in our numbers. Vote today. Vote for Julia Mejia, Ruth C. LOUIJENE, and Henry Santana.
My name is MEJIA Lazu, and I am chair of the We Are Different IE PAC. The We Are Different IE PAC approved and paid for this message.
So again, that's it for us today. I got to get down here in the next few minutes. I'm on a call first, because if I'm going late and get there at 11:10 and they talk about their walkthrough was done, I'm going to be aggravated. So, all right. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Have a great day. Get out and vote. Get your happy tails. Get your happy tails out and vote this morning, this afternoon, this evening, before 8 p.m. It's election day. The polls are open until 8 p.m. I'm encouraging you to vote LOUIJENE, Mejia, and Santana. Councilor Julia Mejia, Councilor Ruth C. LOUIJENE, and Councilor Henry Santana. But most of all, vote. Vote, vote, vote. We will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.